Good afternoon. I'm Christina Rausch, and I would like to welcome you to the July 17th, 2025 Design Review Committee meeting. This is a 9-person committee whose primary function is to perform design review for projects located in one of the city's 3 designated design review areas: downtown, the riverfront, and the hotel overlay zoning districts. This is a mandatory review, voluntary compliance process with one exception for hotels seeking to skip council review. Hotels taking advantage of this incentive must receive a positive recommendation from the committee. All committee members and staff are participating in person. We are streaming live on our Virtual Engagement Hub, which is accessible through the Virtual Engagement Hub link on the front page of the city website, and also linked on the committee page. You can also watch the meeting on the city's YouTube channel, either live or recorded. I will now take roll call. Jeremy Goldstein.
Here.
Catherine Ankaya is absent. Stephen Lee Johnson is absent. Thomas McLaughlin is absent. Michael McDonough. Brian Moffitt.
Here.
Robin Rains. And Ricardo Sejo is absent. We do have quorum, and the first item is approval of minutes from the June 18th, 2025 meeting.
I move to approve the action minutes as submitted and written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion is approved. And then we are reviewing the Wall Street Gateway signage today.
Right tab too.
Good afternoon, Chair and committee members. My name is Dana Frankel. I'm in the planning department. I serve as downtown projects manager. Thank you for being here today to review this one project and a little bit outside of the box project. So I will try to tee it up and provide some good context for you all in your review today. So the project proposal entails 2 signs to be installed at pedestrian entry points to Wall Street. And I will let Kimberly from Explore Asheville kind of go into more of the details, the structural and design aspects of those signs, but I want to talk a little bit about the process of how we got to this point. We had been approached by a Wall Street business owner about 2 years ago about installing a form of a gateway sign. It's really not something that the city initiates or takes the lead on or has funding or dedicated, adopted city plans to do in this case. But discussions continued and evolved, and businesses began engaging with Explore Asheville. Explore Asheville does manage a countywide wayfinding program and was able to, make some connections through that work that they do with contractors they already work with and continue to explore what was possible here. Because the city, this falls out of an existing approval process that we have. It's not new development. It's on public property, right? It's one of those things that is fairly unique. We've had different processes over time for public art and temporary initiatives, and we adapted what we had worked with prior into a process that really is sort of a first go at a process which could change or evolve as we move forward. But I've provided a link to that process for your reference in the staff report, and I'm going to go over that a little bit. This process really was developed to ensure that an element like this installed in the public realm is not only going through appropriate technical review, but is being reviewed and considered in terms of urban design, in terms of public engagement, in terms of character. And really, we recognize that structures in the public realm can have significant impacts and wanted to be thorough with that review. So our review process, which is called our public space enhancement process, includes an application which was filled out by Explore Asheville, and there, as as a result of their work with the Wall Street businesses. It's applicable to structures on city-owned or managed property. The applicant would be responsible for funding, installing, maintaining these structures, so just keeping that in mind for other potential projects that come through this process. We're clear in that process that structures would most likely need to go through additional technical review. That could mean TRC, that could mean separately getting the right staff to review things from a technical standpoint. We've asked for, explanation on how it aligns with city council's goals, how it supports public safety and mobility, aspects of urban design and appropriateness for the public realm, and all these various components of the application that we asked for. Notably, we, as a staff team, wanted to make sure that additional steps could be required depending on the nature of the proposal. In this case, we wanted to require a positive recommendation from DRC. And so we really appreciate you serving in this manner. You're a public body with design expertise, and we know that that's really important. We felt in a case like this, it's staff's job to really ensure that it's not in direct conflict with city goals and policies, and certainly meets our safety and technical standards. Yes, question?
You just said you want to require a positive, or just because it's mandatory review, voluntary compliance.
Right.
The exception of hotels. So
Yes.
has the city, is council proposing to change the rules?
Thank you for asking that in that way. We are not proposing a broad policy change for DRC and your role. We are asking, and as a staff administrative process, we would like this body to be in support of this in order for us to be able to support it moving forward.
So, yeah, okay, I think I understand. So procedurally, our recommendation would impact how staff approves or
Correct, thank you.
project. So our approvals were running through staff, it's not a separate. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that. So just a little bit more into what we're hoping for from you all. So elements of the criteria that we laid out in this staff administrated process is, looking for urban design and appropriateness for the public realm. We want you all to be able to weigh in on that, as well as appropriateness for the social, historical, architectural, geographical, commercial, and/or cultural context of the site from a design and character standpoint. Yes, so thank you, Brian, again for that clarification that your recommendation is coming back to staff. And we are happy, we recognize this is unique, and so we're happy to, help answer questions on this one. And we have, as opposed to a staff recommendation, we do have some considerations that we would just encourage you, or just to, to note that staff is aware of that you may want to consider, which is that we recognize storefront businesses benefit from increased foot traffic. We are in a time of recovery, and wayfinding and visibility has been a really, really big point of conversation from many of our businesses across the city. Generally, while the city can play some role in neighborhood branding and identification through our planning processes, we tend to, really have the community take the lead on those types of initiatives. We are working with Explore Asheville on updates to their broader wayfinding system, and Kimberly may go into this in more detail, but the idea is that this placemaking sign type could fall under their broader countywide wayfinding system, but that anytime there was this placemaking signage type, it would require a special type of process like this one. And the city will, continue to review this and work with the applicant on any technical changes that need to be made, and will maintain the ability to be able to remove the sign if there's any safety or other, technical issues related to the project. Yes.
Have there been any other, so first of all, has this been reviewed by or shown to any of the Wall Street property owner retailers? And then second, is this the only kind of public meeting that this is going to have?
Great questions. What staff has required through the process is public engagement and buy-in. Kimberly's going to speak to that. In terms of a public body, that is this, yes. Any more questions for staff? Okay.
Hi.
Everyone for your time today. My name is Kimberly Purrier, so I work at Explore Asheville as the Destination Project Manager in our Partnership and Destination Management Department. So a little bit about me before we begin. I oversee numerous community engagement projects and programs, including our wayfinding program, as well as our workforce development, the Asheville Black Cultural Heritage Trail that launched in December of 2023. That includes 14 stops throughout the city with 20 panels. As well as various working groups to provide an opportunity to hear and connect with the community. But prior to my job at Explore Asheville, I spent the first 16 years of my career in museum management with city and state operated historic homes and museums, including interpretive planning, exhibit production, facilities management, from preservation, restoration to maintenance. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. Our wayfinding system is extensive, so I'm going to give a quick overview of the program administration to aid in placing this Wall Street request in context. So the Explore Asheville Wayfinding Program encompasses a comprehensive array of wayfinding elements or signs, so approximately 400 aimed at enhancing helping residents and visitors navigate safely around Buncombe County while also fostering a sense of place and identity. And in 2008, in collaboration with the towns and municipalities in Buncombe County, we established an interlocal wayfinding agreement, as well as a maintenance manual to aid staff in the ongoing stewardship. Of the approximately 400 signs throughout the county, we group them into 3 types of elements: wayfinding, pedestrian and vehicular, informational kiosks, and placemaking elements. Each component is specifically designed to cater to diverse user needs. So for example, there are vehicular signs you can see in the top left. They are larger and guiding drivers. Pedestrian signs in the bottom left that include walk times, kiosks with interpretive information about the area and maps, and then the bottom right, you can see an example of a landmark or placemaking element like we're talking about today. The integration of all these signs go through consideration of several factors. So what sign is used varying depends on the need, where it is, property owners, and other various factors. These designs created that you're seeing here already established went through a collaborative process with input from districts, the city, towns that they're in, and various business associations. And we work with 2 vendors for our wayfinding program. We work with Merge to handle our design, and then we work with Geograph. They manage all of our production, installation, and maintenance.
Merge design those?
They've been the vendors we've worked with. Okay, so there are 3 systems of elements in the wayfinding program. The regional system, established in 2010, runs throughout the entire county, and you can see it encompasses vehicular directional signage. So there's no pedestrian signage when it comes to the regional system. The Asheville system introduces gateways. Far left as well as pedestrian signage. RAD system completed in 2020 includes gateway signage, vehicular, pedestrian, and kiosk signage. So it's a nice way to see all of the different elements together. In addition, it introduces that placemaking or landmark element you see with the gear on the far right.
Where did the gear thing come from? I keep seeing it. I was like, what does that represent?
That is a whole nother process, community
Not an easy
engagement
answer?
process.
All right.
Not an easy answer, but I'm happy to talk to you about that another time. So similar to the collaborative efforts of the River Arts District, just like we can talk about another time, that system, we were asked to produce placemaking elements for the Wall Street corridor. So the purpose of the proposed Wall Street signs are to welcome and encourage pedestrians to enter the corridor or district and to enhance the visibility and awareness of the street overall. So Explore Asheville began discussions with city staff and with Wall Street businesses in early 2024. Throughout the spring and summer of 2024, we began working closely with MERGE, our contracted designers, visiting the street numerous times to gather photos of overall feel, unique design elements, and colors to better understand the architectural context, as well as gather measurements. So on this slide, we have gathered the inspirational content that was shared with the Wall Street Business Association and our design firm MERGE for discussion around the schematic design. So I pulled items from the Buncombe County Special Collections to aid in the historical and cultural context of the street. You can see the flyer in the top left corner, a Wall Street advertisement designed by Gene Wall Penland in 1972 that would provide the motivation for the font that will be utilized in the signage that you see. Wall Street has an intimate scale and a romantic, almost European style, so MERGE also included images like what you see in the top right with the iconic Paris Art Nouveau Metro sign. And then the additional photos highlight the red seen in the building, signage, and other accents along Wall Street. So there were multiple concepts presented to the Wall Street Business Association. Ultimately, they chose to go with the following concept that I am presenting. This schematic plays on the street's romantic scale and architectural spirit, all the way down to the love is in the air vibe with the mural on the opposite end of the street. Our designers incorporated the heart into the landmark signage for Wall Street. And as you saw on the previous slide, aesthetically, the red color pulls from and complements other buildings on the street and is meant to be bright for visibility and pop along with the green, against the green from the tree.
I'm sorry, what did you say about the heart again? Did you say why they incorporated the heart? I may have missed that.
So it plays on the street's romantic scale, architectural spirit. We said it was down to that.
Romance.
Sign at the top also says the heart of Old Town Asheville.
You can see it bigger here. The heart of Old Town Asheville is kind of where it started, so. Okay, so one sign is proposed near the eastern end of the Flatiron Building and incorporates fabricated metal lettering to be installed on a new 16-foot pole located in an area of cobblestone that is ADA inaccessible and a shoulder area sidewalk. The lowest portion of the sign would be attached to the pole at approximately 12.5 feet high. The sign lettering, Wall Street, and heart icon itself is about 4 feet tall and extends approximately 11 feet into or over the roadway. The pole and base is designed to blend in with the other light poles across the street. We did consider mounting to an existing light pole through this process, but it did not have the visibility needs closer to the end of the street that stakeholders were looking for, with the trees on the left, and there were concerns with the structural integrity. These poles on the left, the light poles often have minimal or unknown subsurface foundations, making them structurally unqualified to bear additional wind loads from this kind of large signage, and the sign would exceed what these poles are designed to support. So I'm going to keep going through all of it, and then we'll talk. So this is the second sign, constructed of the same material, is proposed as an overhead gateway at the top of the stairwell that connects Battery Park Avenue to Wall Street. The bottom of the sign structure would stand approximately 10.5 feet overhead with the lettering itself approximately 3 feet high and extending the entire width of the opening between buildings, approximately 17 feet. The proposed sign would be mounted to an approximately 10.5 feet tall post located just to the right of the street fair building and the mulched area behind the bench at the top of the stairs. And we did consider mounting to the building on the left-hand side, but it is a historic building and we wanted to avoid damaging the historical integrity of that structure. So thank you for your time today. I am happy to answer any questions you have about the community engagement.
Talk to us a little bit about how you have engaged the community and what the reactions from the Wall Street business community has been.
So we worked with Wall Street Business Association throughout the entire process. Ultimately, there were 3 proposals or options submitted by Merge that were reviewed. This one actually is kind of morphing 2 together that they liked. One that was more modern that used a red that was based honestly on the more modern Tory gates in Asia, and then there was one that was like this, but it was a little bit different. And so we had a lot of discussion about the parts that we liked from all of those different aspects, and that's ultimately when we combined numerous aspects to create this one. So there was discussion around that time at Wall Street Business Association meetings, all of them, but was speaking with representatives from the Business Association. And then ultimately, I attended, once we had this one to present, I attended a Wall Street Business Association meeting to present and talk through it with the group and get feedback and approval before I submitted the application with the city. We wanted to make sure we had obviously gone through that community engagement process. So in a couple months, we started really digging into the design more in this past
Worse.
March. You say that makes it worse.
So I'm the one non-designer up here, so I think I'll just say something real quick because I'm not a professional designer, but I understand the heart of Old Asheville, but if it's the heart of Old Asheville, you don't need to put like a cartoony heart in. You can just be the heart. And I don't know. I just feel like that's trying a little too hard and to me. That's it. That's
I just have a quick one. I think what's, in my opinion, is cool about Wall Street is it feels, it's got this old Asheville beauty that's timeless. And I don't feel like this sign reflects timelessness to me. It feels very cutesy, which I don't associate with Wall Street. If everybody loves it. I mean, I think the idea of the gateway, I think the placement, I like the going down the stairs. I love the placements. I think the idea of a gateway is great. This to me doesn't look like Wall Street though, but I mean, I'm not a business owner on Wall Street.
Would it feel less cutesy to you if the heart wasn't there? Is it the heart that does it or the font?
The font and the heart, yeah.
And the font is pulled from that flyer from the, that's what they were using.
If I can't keep quiet, let me piggyback on that. So, in the design statement, they talked about, first of all, please don't say almost European. If European's supposed to be a good thing, don't say almost. That just it's almost good. But it says they're leaning into whimsical charm. Right, but then it says timeless and authentically Asheville. So first thing I would say is that a gateway sign, directional signage, is part of the infrastructure, and the retail signs are the whimsical ones that should be drawing your attention. In other words, the gateway is drawing them into the Wall Street itself, but then the whimsy should be in the individual, and those are the ones that should be more individualized, and this should be more of an infrastructure, and that's the timeless piece of it. And I just don't, my first reaction when I saw this is that it should have said just Julie's room or something like that. Again, the cutesy, it's too whimsical. In other words, I understand that when they reviewed, they saw a lot of whimsy in a lot of people's, the personalities that the individual retailers have infused their spaces with, but that's because they're working off of a very timeless architecture. With the public service building, the Flatiron anchoring those area, but even all the storefronts, Mayfield's, Mayfield's on the other side. Everything that is there is a very kind of timeless Americana. So I would say that I was hoping that there was something. The other, and this is just from a design kind of thing, is that I really like the cutout. Where you're placing it, how you're doing it is okay. Except that when you do these single cuts, then from the back, they're going to be mirrored. First of all, legibility, timelessness, this should be seen more as infrastructure and less like it's something that's competing with the retailers. I don't know that I mind the little shop, dine, stroll.
By the way, there's 4 architects here, and this is our culture.
This is great.
We see designs and we critique them, and it's not personal, it's just,
Thank you.
this is where our juice flows.
Why we're here, right?
So I think what Brian said is well said. It just seems, the heart seems to be pulled from social media, Instagram posts. I don't know, it just seems, the heart is just so trite. Like, wasn't there like a Banksy, girl holding a balloon that had with a heart in it? It just, anyways. I appreciate everything and the thought that put into it.
Not you.
But it just doesn't seem like a very sophisticated approach to hopefully a sign that stands the test of time in 20 years, if it's still there, that it still speaks to that culture too.
if you scroll up to the Paris sign, I think if you look at that one, just as a reference, it is whimsical. I think you could say it's whimsical, but it's very intricate and it's very detailed in its structure. And the sign also, I think, to what Brian was saying, is legible from both sides, right? So I think my comment would be that this feels very oversimplified. And I think some of the design terms that you're using, romantic, European, whimsical, have a lot more detail and
I could even see you using the font in a similar format. So, if you picked up, say, the, but that's what I kind of start to see in the very articulated, kind of 1920s, 1930s, exposed buttress, steel, kind of almost Gothic, neo-Gothic, Art Deco almost. Right, no, that's right. Style, something along those lines, and then it could just be incorporated. That was one of my other things that I didn't even get to, is that if you're going to do a purpose-built pole, why is it not in court? It looks like those two things don't go together, like the pole was there, and then this thing was like farmed onto it. It doesn't look designed to be there. Like if you're going to have a purpose-built pole, then where the one starts and the other stops. And I can see the color, like I can see that. I mean, it's not what I would pick, but I would be careful not to draw the whimsy. I think it should be a more serious sign. I think it should be more infrastructure. So when I look at like, and I know this design team is capable of it because they did it. They've done it here in our city. So even like the River Arts, the main sign, of course, it's standing by itself. It's not drawing attention away from anything else. But it is still, it's a serious sign. It's part of the infrastructure. That's what I keep thinking of when I'm looking at this is that these placemaking signs, they need to be part of the infrastructure and incorporating what's already there and accentuating what's already there, and then letting the individual retailers do the things that are different from what's already there to attract attention to themselves.
I'm sorry, you're talking about the gear, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about the gear at RAD, even though I like Michael. Other than the fact that, that we had manufacturing and stuff down there. Yeah, you thought it was a bike sprocket? I thought it was a bike sprocket because everybody biked down there. So now I'm really confused, but because it made sense to me until today. And now I'm trying to figure it out.
I can come back and do a presentation on the history about it another time.
That's neither here nor there.
Again, we're a bunch of architects, and I see that the way it attaches to the post kind of creates a bracket, but it's almost a cartoon of a bracket. Like if on the one attached to the post by the flat iron, there's some more arm elements, but that's not how you like structure a bracket. And that Metropolitan Art Nouveau thing, I mean, all those flowy, heavy iron, this looks like it's like neon almost. It's not like real. Like if you're gonna do brackets, like really make them like a little bit more muscular, like make it look like they're holding the sign up. The post on the left side at the stairwell, no, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why does it split into two? Is the lower one bracing it? It's like if it's a structural thing, then
Yeah, I think it's like, to go back to what Brian was saying and incorporating what Michael's talking about, I think it, like either you go for the whimsy and it's like the Paris, it's like really defined, or it's simple and it's wayfinding. And this feels like halfway in between, like it's not committing to either.
thought of in 3D. It's almost like a cutout that somebody pasted in a picture. Doesn't feel very experiential, like walking around it.
Especially since you can't read it from both sides.
I was like, you want to take a TikTok video in front of it? Yeah.
And then it'll read
That was kind of the
correctly,
point, yeah.
So I'm not sure what the process is
That's why I
here.
was like, what do we do now?
So I don't really want to vote this down because that seems mean. Since this is, and I also feel bad because we've done everything. So why don't we do some, do you have any questions for us from what you've heard?
No, I've taken notes and the feedback has been really helpful. So I'm wondering, based on some of the other designs that we received from MERS, I think there's a way to potentially merge some of
Merge.
Pun not intended, but I wish it was.
Are we
To
supposed to
merge
have
some
public
of
comment?
this and potentially.
Can I just say one more?
Public that's viewing, I would like to suggest, if it's acceptable to you, that
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Can I just make one more comment before we move to public comment? I kind of disagree about the little lamp pole signs.
You don't like those either?
The flags.
The pole banners?
Yeah, and I think when I was a kid, there was like the cutout paper dolls, and they had like the frame. It's reminding me of something like that. Like, it also feels a little infantile.
Well, I think if they, once they,
The frame.
once they come to the a different understanding of the main sign,
Okay, yeah,
I don't-
I would agree.
I don't mind the banners as a square, and even as pops
Maybe
of
it's the
color.
font, yeah.
But the font and the frame, I get what you're saying. I think that's going to get worked out.
All right, and then let's open for public comment.
That's okay.
So I make sure I've got all of I've written down a few notes
Sure.
based on your feedback. So one is legibility, like being able to see from both sides. Color was okay, not your favorite, but okay. And then we're looking for something that's a little more timeless, correct?
Character with Wall Street. Again, my biggest thing is going to be that we want it to be part of the place, that as part of placemaking. And so this is distracting from the place, and I want it to be part of the place.
In that regard, I think the color will not
I think the color looks a little bit like it was bright red and faded.
Yeah, yeah,
It's some metal that's been in the sun and now it's turned almost
yeah. I actually didn't think that was, I thought you were just trying to draw attention. I didn't realize that was actually the intended color when I was looking at the packet. So, yeah, I think that makes sense. Yes.
Let's go ahead and get public comment, just in
Yes.
case they're all like, you guys are stupid and you need to do this. That would be good to hear too, right? Leave
You can leave it where it was. Yeah, that's fine. We'll open up for public comment at 1:08 PM. You could just state your name.
Hey, I'm William Disson. I'm the chef and owner of the Marketplace and real estate owner at 20 Wall Street. I'm also here on behalf of the Wall Street Business Association. You all look a little hungry. I probably should have brought snacks, right? Next time I'll bring snacks. Little backstory. I've been working on trying to amplify and beautify Wall Street for the 16 years that I've owned my restaurant. I have been hit with a lot of challenges along the way. We have got a lot of momentum behind this placemaking project and really want to try to see this through to fruition. In terms of businesses on the street, there were 8 restaurants. 6 of them have failed in the last year. After Helene, there are 2 left. My business is not fully open yet. We are down from 9 services a week to 5. Tourism is down over 40%. Beyond that backstory, we had the Flatiron Hotel, which we're really excited is there. But as they were building over a 3-year period, the street was closed 1 to 5 days a week. It's been really tough for businesses on the street there. Not to mention backstory beyond to COVID and whatnot. Wall Street, when's the last time you all walked down it? Most people in Asheville, it's been a while. People, locals, tourists, they get to the Flatiron Hotel, they take a selfie in front of the Flatiron, and they keep walking up Battery Park. People don't walk down Wall Street. I moved to Asheville from South Carolina. I came and walked down Wall Street to go look at the Marketplace, and I thought, hot damn, this is Europe. This is charming, it's romantic, it is quintessential Asheville. So how can we take that, right? I feel like, we're in the business of tourism, and so are you all, whether you like it or not. And as Asheville is coming back from this hurricane, we need more placemaking. And I think we need to do it in a way that is fun and creative and whimsical. I understand you want, as architects, there are boxes you have to check. Architect, I've built and renovated way too many places in my career. But I think as something as tourists, they're looking for something fun and whimsical. Yeah, they want that Instagrammable selfie moment. I understand that maybe there's some things we can do to tweak, but Asheville needs more of those places that the tourists can come to and go, oh my God, this is super cool. I envision Wall Street with string lights and flags down the street, almost like you're in Mexico City or Oaxaca or somewhere in Spain or Italy. I think we need more of that in downtown. We need more ways to engage the city with tourism. You know, the city itself, you know, seems to be thriving in the in kind of the outside areas, right? But downtown central business district has been dying a slow death since the hurricane, and even before then. You know, we had a string of break-ins, you know, unhoused and homeless community, you know, drugs, whatnot. I mean, over the past 5 years, we've done, you know, monthly Narcan training. My business was broken into, shut us down for 8 days. Somebody held me up and tried to carjack me in broad daylight. You know, I watched 2 people overdose and die in front of me, right? I'm not, you know, adding a little emphasis here, but we need more things that add beauty and positivity and love to the city. And I think our placemaking project for Wall Street is something that as locals and tourists alike, they're going to come down Wall Street and go, I get it, the Paris of the South, right? The creative, romantic city that Asheville is, right? And so I just want to implore to you all that I hear your feedback, and we'll take that back with Merge, but we really would love your approval on this. I think we need Wall Street. Obviously, I have bias because I have a business there, but it's a wonderful street, and I think we have an opportunity to really turn it into something special.
Thank you for your
If you don't, are we allowed to engage?
Sure, just make sure you talk in the microphone.
Yeah, I appreciate your passion and the way you're anchored on the street. For me, just where the Flatiron is, the first things you see there with Mayfield's back patio kind of gone for a long time. I guess it shut down.
They haven't been open in over a year.
Well, I mean, but they shut down the back patio a long time ago. And so the life, like right when you look down, it used to be a draw because you'd see the gate. You're like, oh man, I want to go see that courtyard down there. And then the building next to it is like a financial services building. It's like something needs to happen, like right there to kind of pull you 4 steps in, and then you look down the street, and you're like, oh, wow, there's a whole street.
And that was kind of the whole goal behind this placemaking, is to have signage that pops, so when people go to walk by the Flatiron, they go, oh, look at that sign. Oh, you know, shop, dine, stroll. There must be more things down here, right? And it helps engage them and pull them down the street. You know, in terms of could we do a better job at that? I'm certainly open to your all's input. I mean, you all are the experts here. But you know, what can we do to help kind of re-engage the street? I think the placemaking is great. You know, I'm a Francophile. I studied English and French for an undergrad and spent some time in France. I really love in Paris the Centre Pompidou. You guys familiar with that, with the art gallery? You're in an Art Deco building, but then they have super modern, fun, whimsical signage out front. I mean, you talked about standing the test of time. I mean, how long has that museum been here? Asheville is fun and funky and creative, right? Keep Asheville weird. I agree, you know, Wall Street with all the Art Deco, to me is charming and romantic, but is there a way we can showcase a little fun that Asheville's having? I feel like that's something that's missing in our city right now, is re-engaging the fun in the community for locals, but also when the tourists come who effectively pay the bills for over a third of our population. You know, how can we have a little more fun with them when they come here? And I think a lot of that is in signage and placemaking. So when people come down into a neighborhood, they go, oh, cool, like this is, we're here to have a good time, you know? Shoulders relax a little bit, ready for a cocktail, you know?
Just to be clear, because it's not always with our group, But our goal is always compliance, never to say no, but it's yes, but. So, and I thought that's what we were trying to do today. Again, like Michael said earlier, we're architects, we criticize everything, ourselves most of all. I've tried to avoid all the buildings I've ever designed, and it's getting harder to drive. So but we always think it can be better, and we're always striving for it to be better, but the ultimate goal is compliance. So we do want to, very much in support of this project and eager to see it go forward.
Appreciate that. We'll certainly take your feedback, and our goal is hopefully we can get something finalized. I think, is it merge or is it? So the installer Geograph is coming back in September. We were really hoping to push ahead on this and get a design finalized so in early September they can install before leaf season, and we can try to reap the benefits of it.
If Merge for some reason put something together very quickly, we can do a called meeting with a couple of weeks' notice if need be.
Well, I appreciate your all's feedback. Thanks for your time.
Public commenters? We do have a comment online.
Prior to, we don't necessarily need to read it.
I have to read it. If there's a reaction to it, reacting to or commentating on, you're welcome to, but.
Brought up a similar sentiment, so I think it's been addressed.
Can we turn this into a yes?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we're all 100% in favor of what they're trying to do here. It's pretty important to, I think, make it better, because it's going to be there for a while. And so if the end result does that, I think everyone's going to be happier with it.
It sounded like that they had three options. This is a merging of at least some of the things of some of those, and this is like option. So this is option 4, is how I was interpreting things. So I think they've probably got a lot of ideas that they could pull from and maybe integrate. So I would expect
Comment, Dana. Let me close for public comment at 1:17 p.m. and then.
Thank you. I'll just add that staff really appreciates your feedback, and so thank you. And I want to provide one clarification point, and that is that we permit street pole banners downtown. We don't generally go through a public body for design review on that aspect, and that would be the plan in this case. That gets permitted through our outdoor special events office. So.
If I understood that, so the city's the actual applicant for this? There's not an applicant, right?
Thank you for stating this so clearly earlier. Again, your input is really informing staff's administrative approval process.
All right, so as staff has requested that we review this, is staff in agreement in bringing this back for our review?
As Brian mentioned, we can hold as needed. Okay. Have a motion to adjourn, I guess?
Motion to adjourn.
All right. Thank you all.
Seconded, thank you.